I've never known anybody to have this strong of feelings about Gerard Butler.
Well, nobody has a strong opinion because he's just there.
You have a strong opinion.
Well, yeah, he just makes terrible movies.
But I mean, to have that much vitriol directed towards Gerard Butler.
Factual information. Gerard Butler makes terrible movies.
Okay, well, we're going to send that out to him. Hello, everyone. This is Between the Streams. This is our weekly podcast here from Digital Trends, where we talk about movies and entertainment and everything going on in the world of that, and we try to catch you up, bring you up to date with everything that's happening from that. And in addition to being a podcast, of course, we are broadcasting live on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. And if you're watching live, you can see we are in the brand new Digital Trends Studios here in Portland, Oregon. It is. We've classed up the joint a little bit.
So classy.
I mean, you're classing up the joint right now, right?
I've never classed up a joint.
Yeah, that's true. So we are broadcasting live from that. So thanks everybody for joining in. We do want to see your comments, your questions as we go through today, and we've got lots of stuff to talk about. I mean, from obviously there's always comic book movie news. We've got some horror movie news. We've got things to talk about with Netflix, which some breaking news on Netflix canceling more shows, and we'll bring you up to date on that. And like we said, lots to get to, but we do want to talk about
mediocre Gerard Butler movie
and all the Gerard Butler talk you can handle today on Between the Streams. We do want to talk about the first thing we're going to bring up, though, has to do with kind of a phenomenon that's happening in a lot of movies lately, which is bringing back deceased actors into new movies by either digital manipulation or somehow bringing them back in or using old footage and manipulating them a little bit. And there is a whole thing that is happening right now, apparently in Hollywood. Ryan's going to tell us about this. And what our question was to start off with was just, how do you feel about digitally rendered actors appearing in movies? Like, is it too much for you, or do you like it? Do you not like it? Let's see what you think about this. I'm Greg Nibbler.
I'm Ryan Juanita.
So Ryan, tell us about what this is.
Yeah, so it came out with this MIT paper that was written, and it's like a very Star Wars thing right now, but it seems like it's going to be sort of forever now, because why not? And basically, Star Wars has said that they are now digitally preserving all of their actors
so creepy.
Just in case. But the idea is that I think the actor would basically own some kind of right, or their estate would own some kind of right for this, and they can choose to do it, so that potentially you could live on forever. You could always be young in movies to some degree.
Right.
They could digitally enhance. You could still do the performance, but they could make you younger. And once you die, you could still star in all kinds of movies, because they have the digital version of you.
That's
ready to rock.
So creepy. I mean, I think, one of the images that we just showed on there was from Rogue One with Peter Cushing.
I thought it was The Last Jedi.
Grand Moff Tarkin. Yeah, if you watch DT Daily today,
I messed
perhaps
that one up.
Somebody
There's too
made
many Star Wars movies.
Would you like to issue an apology?
I now issue my apology to all of you, to Greg here.
Thank you.
My family.
I feel better now.
Yes, he was in Rogue One.
I issue
not
an
The
apology
Last Jedi.
for not turning my microphone on. All right, so continuing on though, let's talk about this. So I'm seeing some comments come in just about how people feel about this.
Well, I think it always is kind of creepy to people, but I was starting to talk. I wrote up our post today, and I was kind of thinking, in 2018, is this even weird anymore? It's like it just seems to be, it seems to be just par for the course at this point.
Well, Christopher says you can digitally render actors, yet Ben Affleck still has a career? Question mark. Debbie says, sounds interesting. Courtney said, I think it's super creepy.
Plug in Gerard Butler to that.
Gerard Butler, digitally rendered Gerard Butler is all Ryan wants for his birthday, which was yesterday, by the way. Happy birthday to Ryan.
Thanks.
Right. We'll see if we can get
just in time
Gerard to say something to you for that. But yeah, it is kind of an interesting thing, like to see how people feel about this, because I mean, it sounds like we're going to see it more and more and more, which means we could have just a complete digitally rendered Star Wars in like 30 years with all the characters that are out right now.
Yeah, why not? Or a series, maybe like an old Luke Skywalker series. Although
I don't like
didn't
it.
Catch him when he was young enough. Here's the thing. I think the important thing here, and I understand why people are weirded out about it, but I think the real important thing here is that the actor has the right to do it or not do it, and before they pass on has digital domain over their own image, basically, because that's why they didn't bring back Carrie Fisher, because she passed away before they could do that, and they didn't think that would be respectful.
Yeah.
So, and I totally get that. I think that's the bottom line is that whether you think it's creepy or not, I think it's less creepy when you have some say in it. I think when they just popped up Tupac at that music fest, I don't know. I was weirded
That was
out.
weird.
Like, what are you doing, man? Like, he is not alive.
Right.
And he didn't say that was okay.
He didn't.
Yeah,
but of course, he's alive on an island. We all know that.
Well, maybe he is, and maybe he did say it was okay.
He's hanging out with Big
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, that's anyway. There's a big article coming out of Digital Trends, just about this, and I think it's something we're going to see more and more. So if you have comments about that, let us know. But we've got lots of other things to talk about too, including I want to talk about the Netflix recent cancellations. Like we're going to bring you up to date with that. It's weird Netflix news over this last week or so. We do want to just touch on the weekend box office. A24 Films, which we're big fans of here, has the mid-90s movie, which is out this weekend. We talked about it last week, but it's the one with writer-director Jonah Hill. Now,
I think it was like a small release last weekend, and now it's going out wide.
Now it's going out wide. So that's in the box office. You can check that out. Also, the one Ryan's pick for the week, which is Hunter Killer, which is starring Gerard Butler.
Yes.
And Gary Oldman, Common, Linda Cardellini, and Michael Nyqvist.
Yes.
So all of those big stars there.
But Gary Oldman, I mean, come on, Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
Like he's been in some bad movies, let's be honest, but he's always good in them. Whereas Gerard Butler to me is like fine, but he just kind of is like, oh, I'm that guy who's in the bad movies.
Just really hates Gerard Butler.
You just really love Gerard Butler. That's
well,
what
I do now
that's what
because
I'm
you hate him so
going
much.
on. No, I think you just have some kind of a weird thing about Gerard
Who
Butler.
has that kind of hate for Gerard Butler?
There's no hate here.
I mean,
the point is he makes terrible movies, and apparently you like him. That's the weird part.
I don't know about that. All right.
That is the weird part.
Moving on. Let's
Help
stack
me
it
out in the comments because everyone knows he makes terrible movies except Greg, apparently.
Okay. We'll see what people have to say about that. All right. So we're going to talk about some comic book movies and some other horror movie releases because, we are coming up on Halloween. There's a lot of great horror out there. But let's talk about Netflix for a second. So this kind of just broke this morning. Well, one thing that we found out earlier in the week, probably about a week ago, was that Luke Cage canceled after season 2, so you're not going to get a season 3. Iron Fist, that's not as surprising that Iron Fist is going to get canceled. But Luke Cage, why is Luke Cage getting canceled?
Well, I've read some articles about this. The thing about Netflix is we don't understand what the viewership numbers are. They don't help out by giving those away.
Do you think people weren't watching Luke Cage?
Well, I think that maybe it was down in season 2. I think that Jessica Jones was definitely down in season 2. And I personally thought that the quality took a hit in season 2 as well as at the end of season 1.
For Jessica Jones?
For Luke Cage.
For Luke Cage.
Yeah, so I didn't actually finish Luke Cage. I've heard it sort of ramps up and gets better towards the end, but
it does.
I got about 5 episodes in, and I was just like, and again, it's not that it was bad, but we are living in the age of if you're not great, you're not worth my time television because there's just too many choices.
But this is also Netflix, which puts out money for everything.
Yeah,
they'll buy everything.
The real story is that Netflix didn't really used to cancel stuff because why? They already got it there, and
it's in-house. It's all their stuff.
Well, I think a lot of it's produced out of house, but it's
it's their own
right. Well, and the Luke Cage thing also has the connection with Disney, which they are basically sort of slowly breaking off their complete relationship with Disney as Disney readies its own streaming service, Disney Play.
That is true. Well, the other thing that we found out today, and this is what I was going to talk about, is American Vandal canceled. There will not be a season 3 of American Vandal, at least not at Netflix, which I don't know if you've watched American Vandal. We've kind of recommended it on this show. The first season I thought was, I was a little bit reticent to watch it at first. I was just like, this looks really dumb. And it is dumb, but it's really funny.
So good.
The thing is, the second season was actually almost better than the first season.
I think it absolutely was better. The production quality was better.
The
story was even more intriguing, I think. Because it sort of raised the stakes. It's a silly idea. They call the second one the turd burglar, but it's basically someone poisoning people.
Yeah.
And if you've seen, I don't want to give too much away, but if you see, he creates massive, chaos and pathos, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised about this one. I was surprised with Luke Cage, but less so than I am with American Vandal. I am just like, I don't understand. So again, maybe people weren't watching it. I know a lot of people were reticent to watch it because of the subject matter. They just thought it would be silly.
Right.
But this is some of the best TV they're making.
So
Rick Marshall, our movie reviewer, and I agree with him. He said it's his top 1 or 2 shows that Netflix makes. Right up there with Stranger Things.
It's great. I do not understand. I mean, the budget can't have been that big for it. So there's something going on at Netflix.
I'm really surprised that one got canceled. I really am.
Well, so anyway, season 2 canceled, or season 3. You won't get a season 3. They are supposedly going to be shopping it around to see if they can find another place to bring it back.
An interesting wrinkle on this one as well is that this one was produced by CBS Studios.
So maybe they can bring it on to
Well, the point being, we know that they have their own streaming service too. And again,
Yeah.
I wrote this feature about this. The more these streaming services are breaking apart and creating their own, the more these studios are creating their own streaming services, the more Netflix is cutting ties with them, and vice versa. They're cutting ties with Netflix. And really, who loses? We do.
Yeah.
Now we don't get to watch American Vandal season 3 on Netflix. And it's really annoying.
Wow. Yeah, I
I
mean,
wrote a feature about this that, kind of talks about all of that you can check out on digitaltrends.com. But yeah, it's a weird thing. I'm just really surprised.
yeah. So it is kind of interesting to see what they're going to be doing with that. So, all right, moving on from Netflix, we are going to jump back into Netflix again here in just a second. Sorry, I'm just kind of taking a look here and see what the breaking news is. So drop your comments in. Let us know what you want to talk about if you have any questions or comments about this. So one other thing I want to hit with just superhero stuff, since we did bring up Luke Cage, obviously, and then we're going to move on to some cool things that Netflix is doing. Wonder Woman, DC Comics not doing so good, and the one thing that was great about it is Wonder Woman now pushed back to 2020. It's going to be that far, 2 years before we get a Wonder Woman movie.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's the only thing they have going. I mean, really, it is.
Well, we just found out that The Flash got pushed back like for the 10th time.
Yeah, that was last week. Yep,
Yeah.
we found out The Flash got pushed back, and now Wonder Woman pushed back again. So DC not doing so well on that front. All right, let's move on to some other things here, and we do want to bring up lots of stuff that we do have to talk about, and including some remakes. We've got some other streaming services that are popping up, and we'll bring that up here in a minute. But something that's going to be out this weekend, actually today, that you can take a look at is Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So we're talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and not the old one with what's her name? I forgot her name already.
Melissa Joan Hart.
Melissa Joan Hart. Thank you very much.
Clarissa.
TV's Melissa Joan Hart.
TV's Melissa Joan Hart.
No, this is a new version that's coming out. It's on Netflix. It looks really dark. It's kind of like it's being described as a cross between Riverdale and American Horror Story. And
Yeah, it's a
I gotta
twin of
admit, it looks pretty good.
Right.
It looks pretty good. I might actually watch this one.
It definitely has shades of like Rosemary's Baby,
Yeah.
demonic stuff going on. It's pretty interesting. Good for them for taking these sort of weird spins on these old comics. Because Riverdale was a comic first, and then it hit the CW, and now this is probably going to be popular at Netflix
Right.
too. So
Yeah, will
Pretty
you
interesting.
watch it? Will Ryan watch it? That's
No.
the big question. No.
I probably won't. There's just too much stuff that I need to watch, including The Haunting of Hill House and a lot of other things. So I probably won't.
Haunting of Hill House is amazing.
Yeah, I want to
but,
catch that one. I'm still finishing Ozark. There's just only so much time in the day.
Sabrina doesn't have enough Gerard Butler in it, so we're gonna keep bringing that back like a Family Guy joke till it's funny again. All right, so moving on. Another
Funny part is
remake
that you keep defending him. That's the
Another
funny part.
remake.
You're gonna have egg on your face for that one.
that I did want to bring up, just since we're talking about remakes, and then we're going to talk about. I see in the chat MJ brought up a point, and I want to bring kind of ties into what we're talking about as well. So there are always a lot of remakes going on. This one, I don't know if it needs to happen. It's Clueless. Clueless is getting remade. It's been 23 years apparently since the original one came out, but they're remaking it. No word on whether it's going to be, if they're going to bring back any of the old cast, but it's Girls Trip writer Tracy Oliver and Glow writer Marquita Robinson are going to be in it. I mean, I love Glow.
That's some talent, yeah.
That is some talent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, does this need to be remade?
I am not at all surprised at this.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing was about like vapid teenagers, and one of them learns how to, sort of rise above that. And I mean, are we not in a good cultural situation for that to happen again? Like people on their phones all the time.
Yeah, right.
I could totally see it happening.
I guess, but
Not
why not just make an original movie that's not Clueless?
There's nothing new under the sun anymore, man.
Damn it. I mean, if they brought back, Alicia Silverstone in it, okay.
Is that what you would want?
That's what I want.
A 20-year later sequel where
I
she's
don't care.
40
It's
and
Alicia
struggling?
It's fine with me. So yes, I will still absolutely watch that if she's in it. But that's what's going on. So it's still in development. So no word when we'll get that.
Greg apparently does not like Clueless.
Courtney, no, I like Alicia Silverstone. Courtney says Clueless was perfect as is. It does not need to be remade. So there we go.
Team original Clueless.
Yes. MJ, it looks like it's MJ's birthday also.
Oh, happy birthday.
Asked if Gerard Butler will watch it. But then also, so many streaming services is counterproductive. So-called cutting the cord is now more expensive than cable or satellite.
That's exactly
good point. So let's talk about this. It's another streaming service that we kind of knew was in the works, but it's Apple announcing that by early next year they want to be
Well, it's rumored. It hasn't been
rumored.
announced
Yeah.
yet.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, rumored. but we know that they've been working on this for a long time, and they've also made announcements as far as content and all kinds of different things.
We absolutely know that they were working very hard and spending a lot of money on their streaming service.
And rumored that they'll be pushing out to 100 different countries early next year, original content on their own, basically streaming service. And how it would work is if you have an Apple device, an iPad, a phone, and probably a computer of some kind, you will be able to get their streaming service for free and all of their original content, which they're spending at least $1 billion, maybe more dollars on original content. They've got one show that's going to be starring Steve Carell, Jennifer Aniston, and Reese Witherspoon. It's going to be like a morning show kind of thing. But that's going to be an original 20-episode series. It's going to be just on their service.
I think that one's a drama about a morning show.
A drama about. You're right. I should clarify that. I would watch a morning show with the three of them.
I would love to see Steve Carell on a morning show. That would be fantastic. He's hilarious.
No, but it's a drama about a morning show.
He's also a really good dramatic actor. That should be interesting. But
you have to have an Apple device to get it.
Yeah, and that's so brilliant. I mean, I cannot think of a smarter thing for Apple to do. As we were talking about today on the early show, they have their own content delivery network. They're really good at delivering updates right away, so it should be similarly easy for them to deliver TV to everybody. Why wouldn't they do this, really? I mean, and it's one more reason to buy an Apple phone over.
But are you going to buy an Apple phone just for that?
Oh, absolutely not. But people who have an Apple phone, that's one more reason to stick with it.
One more reason not to leave.
Yeah,
that's true. And then I guess the way it'll work is you can then add on, there supposedly they're still in negotiations, but you could add on HBO or add on whatever else.
Yep, and that's the other way that they're getting money, because of course they're getting a piece of that, and then they can chunk on another premium channel on top of it. So I think it's a brilliant move, but again, the partitioning and bifurcating of streaming to me is becoming a loss for the consumers. It was much better when a ton of stuff was on Netflix and a couple other services.
Yeah.
But nothing we can do to stop it now. And as one of the commenters brought up, we're really this whole thing that got us away from cable. Like, we wanted to have our own choices and we want to have a la carte stuff. All of that is just sort of pushing back.
How many are too many?
Yeah, and really it's going to get a point, so it's way too expensive, and people are going to come right back to cable, I think, or some people are, or a similar entity. And who wins there? The people that never wanted you to leave cable in the first place, and they're fishing you right back in.
There's just a Comcast guy like,
yes,
welcome back.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
exactly right.
That's just taking a look at that. And again, Ryan does have an article up about this, just all the different streaming services that are up at digitaltrends.com. You can take a look at that and see how it's affecting things. Let's see. MJ says pricing for Apple streaming by means of Apple devices is great. As far as the content, take their profit and buy Comcast. Oh, yeah, they could buy about anything if they really wanted to, probably. Will they? I don't know. Moving on here, we've got some trailers that we wanted to talk about, some different things that we want to bring up. The Queen biopic is coming out in December of this year, and we did get the final trailer for it. It looks good to me. I will definitely be watching it. I don't know if it's quite a theater movie for me.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the early talk around is that it's sort of
Bohemian Rhapsody is the name of the movie.
Right. I guess the early talk that I've heard sort of, around online is that it's not as good as they'd hoped or something. But
really?
Looking at this trailer, it looks, at least it seems very epic. Like, it's really amazing seeing him in front of that crowd. Like, that looks real. And so they definitely spent the money on it. It looks pretty interesting. Rami Malek is a great actor, so hopefully it'll be good.
They did really go for the teeth on it.
Yeah,
they really did.
True. Maybe it was too much. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Well, anyway,
they did really go for the teeth.
They did. I mean, it's either way. I definitely want to see it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about a couple of other horror movies that we do have to bring up here. One of them being another one that is coming to Netflix. So obviously they're still creating their original content, but this one is called Bird Box, and it's coming out on December 21st. Stars Sandra Bullock. So I'm sure they had to pay some good money for Sandra Bullock. And I guess it's reminiscent of A Quiet Place is the way people are describing it, as similar to that. She's out in the forest, and she's protecting her children and herself from an entity that takes the form of people's worst fears.
Okay.
You have to go hide from this thing in the forest.
So that's why she's wearing a blindfold? Is that the situation?
I
so
suppose.
I
don't know.
Scary things?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Can't see the scary things.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does sound like kind of a Quiet Place ripoff, but maybe it couldn't be because I don't know how long ago was it made? I don't know. I suppose the Quiet Place script was around for a while, so they could
Right.
it off.
Well, either way.
I mean, that's the one thing, as a pro for Netflix, they really have been ramping up their movie stuff, and it seems like they're getting better at making movies that aren't just also.
They've made some pretty bad ones.
They've
too.
made some bad ones, but it seems like the newer ones that we're hearing about seem like they're going to be of a higher quality. So.
Yeah. Well, that one, I mean, again, Sandra Bullock. So
Yeah.
I'm sure she's not cheap.
I don't see any reason for a long time to actually quit Netflix. I'm just bummed that like some of the shows that are on there are probably going to go away pretty soon.
That's what's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, there we go. That's Bird Box, December 21st. All right, for horror fans, there's another one. I wanted to bring up this, which is it's called La Llorona, and it's not coming out till next year, but this looks great to me, mainly because it's based on an old legend, which is this legend of it's a Mexican legend called for the Weeping Woman. So the Weeping Woman is a ghost of a woman who lost her children and now cries while looking for them in the river. And I thought I grabbed the trailer. Maybe we do. Oh, we do have a trailer for it. So yeah, I showed just an image there of what like a statue actually of
that statue is
La Llorona.
Kind of spooky.
Yeah, and it's from the same guy who did The Nun and The Conjuring 2.
Which you love that stuff.
Yeah, it's cheesy, but I mean, I do like that. I do like those.
This explains your love for Gerard Butler.
You get some jumps. Gerard Butler would be great in this.
He would be good.
So unfortunately, it's actually Linda Cardellini again, who starred in the movie with Gerard Butler. So it all ties together.
It's really
a running theme throughout the whole show today.
Yep.
So Linda Cardellini's in it. It looks great to me. So anyway, the Weeping Woman is someone who lost her children and now cries while looking for them in the river and then causes misfortune.
Yeah, and I'm sure
I love things
build
based
on,
on
and
legends.
Make it super evil and dark and scary, and that already sounds kind of haunting. So
yeah, no, I love that kind of stuff. So La Llorona, that's coming out next year.
That sounds fun.
And a couple more trailers here to talk about, and then we do have we've got a few different things to get to here. We got some Star Trek news as well that we're going to be talking about here in a second. Let's see. So another trailer, Destroyer. This comes out December 25th, and I've been seeing this one a lot, just mainly because it's Nicole Kidman starring in it, and it's the makeup. And how they age her in this.
Oh, yeah.
She's an old lady now. And it's...
Did they really need to do much makeup for that? Oh, just kidding.
Boy. Wow, just really throwing your digs in everywhere.
I'm kidding. She's great.
So Destroyer follows the...
First crushes. I just...
Until she got old. Follows the moral and existential odyssey of LAPD Detective Aaron Bell. So basically, I think they put the makeup on her so she can also play young Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, no, she's great.
And,
IT is Nicole Kidman, of course.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm sure she's paying attention.
I know
right
she's
now.
watching right now. So Nicole, I apologize.
Nikki, Ryan said
Nikki.
sorry. So
we're doing lunch next week.
All right, we have that. Let's see. There's also. I was just going to play this. J.J. Abrams movie is coming out that seems to be overlooked quite a bit, and I'm wondering if that's because it might not be one of his top ones. But it's called Overlord. And it is it's by Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot Productions. It's an American war horror movie.
Okay, I've actually been hearing about this, and I've been.
So are you
really
getting good things?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've actually been hearing that it's like this weird mix of a war movie, an action movie, and a horror movie, kind of all rolled into one.
Kind of mixing them all together.
Yeah. And,
okay.
And from what I've seen of the footage, it looks pretty damn spooky.
All right. So maybe it still falls in that horror vein there for Overlord. Okay.
Yeah, I think it could be cool.
All right. A couple of updates, and then we're going to get into the Star Trek news here that we have here in a minute. But we do have this, for those of you who are Pirates of the Caribbean fans, which I haven't watched one since, I think I watched the second one.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's a lot of them.
They made 15 of them or something. Johnny Depp no longer going to be in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Aren't they rebooting it, though?
That's what they're talking about, rebooting it again. Is it... I mean, didn't they just put one out like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So how do they reboot it again?
Well, I think what they do is they say, well, we have this franchise that's worth $1 gazillion and Johnny Depp is toxic. So let's pretend this never happened and let's keep making Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
So who's going to play Jack Sparrow in the new one?
If they even have a Jack Sparrow, who knows?
Yeah, Gerard Butler.
It
All right,
could
so
be Gerard Butler.
Johnny. All right, so we've got Johnny Depp. Anyway, that was the news that Johnny Depp's no longer going to be Pirates of the Caribbean, and then we have this, which is just kind of a strange mix of things. Friday the 13th. Speaking of reboots and remakes, Friday the 13th rumored to be getting a reboot by none other than LeBron James. LeBron James and Vertigo Entertainment he posted LeBron James. Even we've got a picture up there of Jason, and LeBron James posting a picture of himself in a Jason hockey mask, talking about rebooting the Friday the 13th franchise.
You know what's interesting about this? It came out the news came out right after Halloween broke like 4 box office records.
Yeah.
In its reboot. Something tells me that's not a coincidence.
Right. All of a sudden, everybody wants to get in on this.
Yeah. Well, and LeBron James is pretty savvy, and his production company is pretty good. You know, they're remaking Space Jam. They've done a few other pretty smart moves. So
he's got his show on HBO too.
This will be the 2nd or 3rd reboot of the Friday the 13th franchise. The franchise is exactly like the character. You can't kill it.
Yeah.
And it's just going to keep coming back and keep coming back. But you never know. I mean, the Halloween one got great reviews. As long as they get the right people in there, it could be fine.
What horror franchise would you like to see brought back?
I mean, is there one that hasn't been brought
would
back?
Hellraiser? I mean, the original is really good. Yeah. I really do like the original.
I don't know
Hellraiser.
how you top that, really, I mean, I feel
more
like
CGI.
I feel like it's only a question before they do The Exorcist, or I mean,
they just did
a matter of time. Oh, did they do that?
Yeah, didn't they just do that a couple of years
Probably.
ago? Or maybe that was a sequel. I can't remember. There was some kind of Exorcist.
Yeah.
That came out.
If it hasn't been rebooted already, it's just because somebody forgot to do it. Like
it's on a shelf.
It's
somewhere.
all getting rebooted.
All right. Some other news. There's a new Pinocchio. Actually, there's a couple of Pinocchio movies that are coming out. Pinocchio. It's a Pinocchio essence. That's what we were trying to figure out. That's what we're dealing with right here. So there is one. There's a live action version that's going to be made. I didn't have it dropped in there, but with Roberto Bernini.
Right. Okay. And that one's being made by Disney, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Because they're rebooting all of their stuff.
The live action. And then there's another version that's going to be coming from Netflix with Guillermo Del Toro. So directing his first animated.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. They're using stop motion animation. They're doing it here in Portland, which is becoming, or it's rumored to be here in Portland.
No, I think it is.
Yeah, it's becoming a stop motion hub because we have Leica here, Henry Selick, who did like Coraline and Nightmare Before Christmas. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually really excited about this.
Well, in his version, so it's going to be dark. It's set in 1930s Italy, in a country, in the country hit hard by the Great Depression and impacted by Benito, by Mussolini. So Mussolini's going to be a part of it. I love the idea of a dark Pinocchio.
But it's also a musical.
All right, so throwing one more thing in there.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting too. I will follow Del Toro wherever he goes.
Okay. So there's that. All right, couple of last things here that we're going to talk about, and then we'll circle back up to the top and just talk about Netflix or whatever you want to bring up in the live chat. Another Star Trek series is coming, and this is coming to CBS All Access, who seem to have control over pretty much everything Star Trek right now. And this one, though, is going to be an animated Star Trek series brought to you by Mike McMahon, who's one of the executive producers and writers for Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
So I really like the idea of this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a comedy, so it's called Star Trek Lower Decks, and it's about all the people who work on the ship, but aren't really in charge of anything.
They're just along for the ride type situation.
The junior officers, if you will. Yeah, they were talking about it's the guy who puts the yellow cartridge in the food replicator. Those kind of people. So this, I will definitely watch it. I mean, I think it's funny.
They already have something similar to this with the Seth MacFarlane show, which I can't think of the name of it right now. It's called the something.
Seth MacFarlane show? Yeah, I know. I'm blanking on it too. Thanks.
They already kind of have a Star Trek spin-off comedy, but this sounds interesting. And CBS... it's kind of weird.
The Orville. That's what we're trying
thank
to
you.
go for. Yeah.
Just couldn't get it. CBS, it's kind of interesting because they own all the TV rights to Star Trek, and then Paramount owns the movie rights. So CBS is just like, we're going to cash in however we can, make as many series as possible. So,
well, I mean, why not? Can't blame them if you have the rights. I mean, why not do
Absolutely.
it? All right, we've got 2 more things. Oh, we do have some breaking news we're going to get to at the very end. But before we get to that, this is a strange one to bring up, and normally we don't talk about commercial series on here, but if you're a fan of Tim and Eric, this one just popped up as a Facebook ad, and I had no idea what the hell it was that I was watching, but I was like, all right, it's Tim and Eric. It's called Purple Boys, and there's a whole series of these. They're like little 2.5-minute movies or series episodes, and it revolves around these 2 guys who are, Tim and Eric, named Quirky Purple and Gino Purple, who are the founders of the Purple Mattress Company in this thing, and they're just like little... like infomercials about their mattresses. And
Is it a real mattress though?
it turns out there's a real company, there's a real
Okay.
purple mattress company, and they just
right.
hired them to do a bunch of. They just basically handed over the keys and said, "Okay, make a bunch of movies about purple mattresses."
Genius.
And it's so weird. I mean, if you like Tim and Eric, it's very Tim and Eric.
They always border on too weird for me, but I do
Yeah.
find them very hilarious. Just
They
as
have
people.
zonk strategies that they work out, and it's so strange. But I'm telling you, it was pretty entertaining.
Nice.
All right, some questions in the chat just about the new studio. I saw that. Did Greg intentionally make his chair taller than Ryan's? Yep, new studio. You know,
Smart.
yeah. My chair will raise
I
up.
didn't
Nobody
think of
else.
that. I could have raised my chair. I don't know.
Yeah, or it's being speculated I'm sitting on phone books, which is also a possibility.
You got that donut.
Yeah, I've got my special. Don't talk about my set donut. All right, final thing that we want to get breaking news. Breaking news here, because every week we have promised that we will be bringing you news about Rambo 5.
Yeah, every week.
Rambo goes to camp.
This is what we're
and
here
this
for.
one we have is Rambo. Sylvester Stallone posted a picture of the Heartstopper knife. So this is what it's called. I don't know if we have the picture loaded. We do. We did get the picture. So this was posted on Instagram, Ryan. I know you're very excited about this.
I am. I love Rambo.
That is the Heartstopper knife. This one, in this Rambo 5, and this is serious, Rambo's a cowboy. He lives on a ranch, and there's a cartel that stole his buddy's kid. And that's what happens in Rambo 5.
He's going to be speaking low and unintelligibly, and
I bet he's not very happy about it.
no,
He
he's
is not happy
going
about
to
it.
be happy about that at all.
So there we go. Rambo 5. That's your breaking news. That's 3 weeks in a row I've been able to break news on Rambo 5.
I think we could probably keep this going.
We're going to try. We're going to try.
It's a nice little.
All right. Well, back to the top. Just again, thanks everybody for tuning in too. Again, this is Between the Streams, and it's being. Can we just not with Rambo? No, it's going to happen.
No, it's happening.
It's happening. Rambo meets
your
Taken.
worst
Oh, that is
nightmare.
true. It is kind of like a Rambo meets Taken thing. So yeah, we've got all of that going on there. All right. As far as the digitally altered actors, Ryan's for it.
I don't know. I don't think I'm for it. I just feel like it's an inevitability. The same
right.
way we're all going to be living in a digital world at some
Yeah.
point, or some of
Yep.
us will.
Yep. All right.
It's 2018.
Well, there it is.
It's coming.
All right. Rambo, Texas Ranger. Another comment that comes in. All right.
I love that.
There it is. You can check out Ryan's article about that at Digital Trends, and you can check out articles about everything that we've talked about at digitaltrends.com. If you are a fan of all of our content, be sure to tune in to DT Daily 2, now launched every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, live here from the brand new Digital Trends set. If nothing else, you got to go here and take a look at our set. Like, go to the website. It's pretty fun. And follow us on everywhere you can follow us. Subscribe to Between the Streams. Make sure you get that podcast every week that we put up for you. And I think that's about it for this week.
Yeah, I did not write the digital preservation piece. I don't want to take credit for that, but
Okay.
But it will be on our site, and it looks very interesting. We got an interview, so it should be pretty cool.
Fantastic. All right. So that article will be up there. Check out
Yeah.
all of that at Digital Trends. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next week with another episode.